Welcome back to the MLG Championship Sunday. We are in Dallas with the playoffs. We just watched the losers bracket finals between Triggers Down and Final Boss, as Final Boss loses 7 straight games to knock themselves out of the event. And now it's time to check out the Old Spice Pro Strength moment coming from that final game. And this one was a big one. It's coming from Karma with no shields. He hit a body shot with the sniper rifle and then passes the flag off to Hysteria. That was the final nail in the coffin for Final Boss, and they are now gone. But coming up next, we have Triggers Down facing off against Straight Rippin. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you guys, Sundance and Nexy. What were your thoughts on that match?
Well, I got a chance to watch it over there, and I have to tell you, the energy from Final Boss was flat. There's no question about it. I didn't feel like they were really engaged. It looked like Strong Side at the end turned it on, but it was the one thing that I felt was obvious to anyone who was watching up in the stands was that they weren't excited. They very rarely showed a lot of emotion, and you know what? They kind of looked defeated and dejected before the series was even over.
You know, it wasn't only Final Boss being flat. It was also Triggers Down being on their game. Their teamwork was unstoppable that last series. I mean, as you saw in the Old Spice Pro Strength moment of the match, Karma was able to stay alive, Hysteria staying alive. They just helped each other so well, stayed alive, and that's why they won.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, every game I was calling it a different name. I was like, SK, did you see what he just did there? Karma, did you see what he just did there? That's the mark of a team that's clicking. Karma's having fun. He's smiling. We know what that means. It's dangerous. It was fun to watch them. I'm hoping, though, that in the time off that Final Boss has, that somebody on that team lights a fire under their collective assets so they come back to Vegas and shows us what they're made of, because that's what I really want to see are the best games from everybody in Vegas. I don't think we saw that right here in Dallas.
Well, I think this is the second time that we've been disappointed by Final Boss's performance. They seem to fall apart and get down on themselves. Hopefully they can turn that around coming into Vegas. Now, Sundance and Nexy, let me ask you this. We have Triggers Down coming up against Straight Rippin in the championship match. What are you liking here out of Triggers Down?
I think the teamwork. I mean, Nexy, you know, we were talking about it before this whole thing started. The question was, is Karma really going to fit in? And you know what? He is. These guys, it's very reminiscent of a team that won an event with a guy named Snipedown on there. Triggers Down looks very similar to that squad. It took him a little while to find their momentum, but you know what? Karma's that kind of a player where he will go out and he'll make a smart play, pull a flag, kill somebody, pass the flag. He'll just go, he goes into this mode where he's just like, wow, what did he just do? Next, he thought he was standing on his teammate's head. I mean, that's the kind of thing Karma can pull off.
Levitating.
Well, you know, Karma's playing great, but not only that, the rest of them are playing amazing. I've had my eye on Hysteria. Have you seen his stats the past few games?
Sick.
He's going off. I mean, the natural talent in Hysteria, everyone says it. It's above anyone else's level. Maybe not everyone else, but it's pretty impressive.
And his sniper rifle, one of the best, and always exciting to watch. Now, guys, we're going to get a chance to see that coming up. We have the championship match, Straight Rippin taking on Triggers Down. You guys pumped?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I can't. This is
so
a matchup
excited.
I'm really excited for because it looks like both teams are playing really well right now. It's not like one team is backing into it. You got Triggers Down, who just made a statement. Straight Rippin, who's warming up because they won their match pretty handily, so I'm excited.
Well, guys, before we get to the championship match, let's talk about what we've seen out of these top 8 teams, the best 8 teams in Halo 3 going into Vegas.
Well, I mean, I think what you're seeing right now is some teams are making statements and some teams are trying to find their way. I think you see a team like Triggers Down right now who maybe stumbled a little bit in the beginning of this event. Now they're making a statement. They want to win this event. Straight Rippin making a statement that this is our event. No one's going to beat us. Only we can beat ourselves. Meanwhile, Walshy and Instinct, a little disappointed, obviously, after that great Toronto finish. They maybe have to do a little soul searching. Final Boss, some soul searching. Carbon, I mean, there are a bunch of teams that didn't finish where they wanted to. And meanwhile, you got to remember, we've seen this before. Just when you think you have it all figured out, a team comes out of nowhere and surprises you.
Well, how about Team Ambush finishing top 4 this event? How about Carbon bringing Final Boss to Game 5? How about Classic causing upsets early in the bracket? I mean, I think a lot of the teams are stepping it up. A couple disappointments, but overall, I mean, our teams are on fire right now.
Yeah. Now, guys, I got to ask you a question. You touched on this team. It's Carbon. They've been quiet. Karma's now gone. But Naded, with very little practice coming into this event, absolutely dominated once again. Are you excited for a practice Carbon going into Vegas?
Well, I think if it's a classic example. If that team is slept on, if somebody looks ahead of them, they can do some damage. Naded, as we know, we've been a fan of his for a couple of years. We've watched him. We've seen how good he is as an individual player. He's had a hard time fitting into a team. It looks like that team maybe right now has a lot to prove, which I like. That's classic Carbon. You say, oh, you know, root against us and we'll show you. Maybe they're getting some of that core energy back from 2006 and from Dallas 2007 when they say, look, give up on us because you know what? That's what we need. That motivates us.
You know, I totally agree with you. And I know they're a little, I got a chance to talk to them early. They're a little disappointed in themselves, but I must say, I watched their entire series with Final Boss. they played the best this tournament that they've had all season long.
And don't forget, maybe that series, playing Final Boss the way they did, is what kind of took some energy out of Final Boss, because I don't think Final Boss was thinking that Carbon was a threat, but they were.
Well, Carbon definitely was a threat, but they did lose in winner's bracket round 1. Now, there was another team that kind of shocked everyone here, losing in winner's bracket round 1. Nexy, talk to me a little bit about Instinct's performance here this weekend.
Well, Instinct, I mean, fan favorite, as you can tell. I don't know if you guys heard the energy